Hey, what is up, Panther fans? Well, as fast as the draft came, it is gone. It's been a few days since the draft ended on Saturday. Today is Thursday afternoon. A little bit later than I had planned on getting this all filmed, but I had company in until late Sunday night, and just been really busy this week. A lot of stuff going on. I did mention before that I was going to that Dodgers game against Atlanta. I know a lot of people back in the Carolinas are Braves fans like me. It was amazing doing the tomahawk chop in Dodger Stadium as Chipper Jones hit a game-winning RBI in his last at bat in Dodger Stadium. I was wearing Chipper Jones jersey, right front row, first base line, down near the outfield, right in front of Jason Hayward. It was pretty cool. But anyway, you came here to hear about the Panthers, not the Braves. So, made several picks this weekend. Some I was really excited about, some not as much. Our first round pick, the Luke Kuechly pick, fantastic pick. If you watched my draft preview from the other day, you saw that I was advocating for Kuechly. I thought he would be a good pick, and that's the pick we went with. I think he's a can't miss. I mean, that's a pick that's a guarantee can't miss player, in my opinion. Safe pick, yes, but he very easily has the potential to be Dan Morgan without the injuries, or possibly even the next Brian Urlacher or somebody like that. He has that sky high potential, and it was a great pick. So my only concern is seeing what they do with Beeson, because I think ideally, Beeson's gotten used to playing in the middle. He's fantastic there. We'll see what they do if they slide him over or what. But if you didn't know, Kuechly actually had a faster 40 time at the combine than both Thomas Davis and John Beeson did when they were there. So for people who think Kuechly's kind of unathletic, that's just not the case. Guy's quick, and he's got great instincts. So great pick there. One thing I did like when I've heard the analysis about him, I hear that he's, because his instincts are so good, he's really good at knocking down those short-range, intermediate passes. And that's been an Achilles heel for us. That's a bad phrase to use considering Beeson's injury, but it's been a real Achilles heel for us the past few years, just allowing the short dump-off passes, to go for first downs and more. It's always been something we hadn't really seemed to be able to stop. Also, tight ends, covering tight ends short has been a real issue for us for a long time. But let's go ahead and move on, because I want to talk about the other picks too quickly. Our second round pick, I was very down about for a while. Because Friday, when the second and third round happened, that was my birthday. I was hanging out here at the place. I had a friend here with me. We were, kind of celebrating, watching the draft. I was excited. And knowing we don't have a third round pick, our second round pick comes up. There's a lot of good players left on the board. Some have slipped. A lot of value there. And we go for Amini Silatolu. So, sitting there waiting all that time, and then you see the name of a guard, an offensive guard from Midwestern State, pop up on your TV screen. But both me and my friend were less than excited about the pick. We just kind of shook our heads and was like, what are we doing? There was a lot of needs that we could have addressed at that point. But after we cooled off and thought about it, looked up some stuff about the guy, I'm feeling better about the pick. The guy's a mauler. Turn on the tape, and he does come from a Division II program, and there's some drop-off in talent there, but his physical skills on the field are undeniable. So, offensive guard may not be our biggest need, but I think he's going to be a guy we can plug in there and really stabilize the offensive line for a while. Because you still got, Handgardner coming back. You've got Bell who can play guard. We just signed Mike Pollock from the Colts, great guard in his time in Indy. And plus we signed Bruce Campbell, the tackle from Oakland, who could also play guard. So we kind of have a logjam now of guards in-house, but it's kind of the best player available, and I'm sure they had him very high on their board. And also, while we're on the second round, I've got to give a quick shout-out to Brian Quick, Appalachian State University, highest Appalachian player ever drafted. He was drafted the first pick of the second round, 33 overall. I was very surprised to see that pick. But I'd heard some rumblings that the Rams were looking at him, and to see Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce come out there and announce the pick for him, apparently they were just absolutely blown away at their workouts for him. So cheers to him. He's an alum of my alma mater, so got to give him props. You see the flag in the background. So, but let's get back to Panthers. Didn't have a pick in the third round. Fourth round pick, we traded up to get back-to-back fourth round picks. The first one, Frank Alexander, defensive end from Oklahoma. Not extremely excited about this pick. I think that if you're going to trade up, and we gave up next year's third round plus this year's sixth round, or high sixth round pick, I don't know if that's the type of guy that we should have been trading up for. He has some honors from the SEC, so he's done some things at that level, which is good, but he doesn't really show me a lot of flashes coming into the pros. Hopefully I'm wrong on that, but I think that if we wanted him, we maybe could have had him a little bit later, and maybe not a big deal to trade up for him. Our second fourth round pick, I kind of have mixed feelings about Joe Adams, wide receiver / punt returner from Arkansas. And if any of you guys know where I'm from, what I'm about, we've been working on the Armani Edwards experiment for the last 2 seasons now. And I was hoping that he'd get at least one more year, because I think the timetable for him was about 3 seasons to make the adjustment from FCS quarterback to NFL wide receiver. But with them drafting Adams, that pretty much puts that to bed. And also heard today that we brought in Jacoby Jones for a workout today. And if they sign Jacoby Jones, then it's definitely over. There's just no way to come back from that. I heard he's been working hard this offseason down at IMG, where Chris Winkie heads up that place where Cam Newton works out. And he's been really putting in the time. And I hate to see him go out, but it seems like that they have it in their mind that they're going to move on. So hopefully he gets to stick around through the preseason, show some flashes, maybe gets picked up by another team, gets another shot. I think he's still got a ton of talent, and he's been under so much pressure since he's been in Carolina. It's been ridiculous. But hopefully for him, he gets that shot, since he deserves it. But speaking of Joe Adams, turn on the tape of him as well. He looks fantastic. Led college football in punt return for touchdowns last season. He's dynamic, explosive. Has some injury concerns I'm a little bit worried about, but we'll see where that takes us. Now I got to kind of speed up here because I'm going slower than I expected. But fifth round pick, I like this one a lot. The Josh Norman pick, defensive back from Coastal Carolina University. It's a school program I'm familiar with. Haven't seen a lot of him personally play at all, but I know that level and there's talent that comes out of there. But this guy, look at the tape of him. He's a maniac out there on the field. That was a great value pick. It was very lauded by all the experts on the draft coverage online. So it was a great pick at that point in the draft in the 5th round, and I couldn't agree more. Great pick. Fills a void. He's probably not going to come in and start or anything, but has the potential to be, the third or fourth cornerback this year for sure. So we'll see where we go with that. I think Captain Mutterland's best served going back to the nickel. And if he can do that, we can get somebody, whether that be, Brandon Hogan, if he comes out this year looking really good, or Norman, or whoever they have in mind. I think that's our ideal setup. And our final two picks, our late 6th round pick, it was a compensatory pick for losing Richard Marshall last offseason. We used that pick on Brad Nortman, punter from Wisconsin. And, nothing to get excited about really, but, it's a punter, and it fills a need. We cut Jason Baker in the offseason, so all that was just filling that void at punter. And we had to get somebody in there because we had nobody. So he's pretty much in line to be day one opening starter at punter. So, good situation for him, that's for sure. But hopefully he performs. That's really all to say about that. 7th round pick, DJ Campbell, defensive back from California. 7th round. It seems like we always draft a defensive back in the 7th round. I mean, any of you guys get that trend? It seems like we always get a DB in the 7th round. But, another pick, just trying to pick best player available and add some depth, probably mostly for special teams. And we'll just take him to camp, see how he does. But that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on these picks. I think we have a few gems in this one. Could shape up to be a really fantastic draft for us. I'm excited to see how the season plays out, and now we've got a several month wait until the start of training camps in the preseason. So now comes the agonizing time. If any big news happens, I'll be sure to make a video about it. If you have any questions, anything about the draft, want me to answer, hit the comments. I'll get back to you. But in the meantime, just keep an eye out for the news. See if we sign Jacoby Jones. What do you think about that? I'm a little kind of here or there on it. Not really sure. I understand if we sign him, where he's going to fit in. But I'm going to get out of here, and we'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the draft, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Panthers.